Hey everyone, Rob here from TheSnapCast, and I'm going to be doing an update on Titanshift. This is just going to be a deck tech on Titanshift. Some changes that could be made to it. We're also going to talk about the red-green Valakut deck and what Eldritch Moon has to bring to it. The entire set of Eldritch Moon has been spoiled. I've gone through a majority of the cards that would possibly affect it, and I've pulled out my 2 cards from it that I believe will have the best impact for these decks. Now, as far as my update is concerned, since the last time I did a deck tech, the biggest change that I have to the deck right now, mainboard, is that I have replaced my Explorers with Farseek. And the reason I did this is because Farseek guarantees the land drop. I've kind of explained this before in some of my other Twitch videos and YouTube videos, but whenever we play that Farseek, or whenever we played the Explorer, the biggest thing we wanted was to abuse playing an additional land. Sometimes we always didn't have that in hand though, so we were banking on being able to draw that. Well, Farseek solves that problem for the exact same mana cost. We're able to search our library and we can dig up our Stomping Grounds, our Cinder Glades, whatever it is we want, and put on the battlefield tapped. Obviously, of course, from Valakut. This is great because it acts as a guaranteed burn then if Valakut's on field, or it can get us that land that we need so that on the following turn we can throw down Titan, or we have the mana required for Scapeshift. Now, the change that I've made, and this is kind of a spicy change, and I've noticed the biggest weakness we have with this deck is permission. Counterspells hose us. In the Rug, Scapeshift, Mirror, the Bring to Light versions, and a majority of your other control decks, your blue-white, your red-blue, all of that. So what I've decided to do is I've added 3 cards to the sideboard to help this out. Now with this, I have gotten rid of a couple of other cards. I have shaved off the Grafdigger's Cage, that is now gone. I've gotten rid of 1 Anger of the Gods, and I believe I put in a 3rd. But the card though was discovered while I was doing a trade with a buddy of mine for a whole bunch of shocks from the Return of Ravnica block. For those curious, we ended up trading about $300 in value. It was really good, and I definitely believe I came out on top. But the card, if you guys can't think of the card that will help us with permission, it is Savage Summoning. Savage Summoning can't be countered. It's 1 green and it's an instant. And the next creature card we cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash. That spell can't be countered. That creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. This card is going to do great things, I feel, with this deck. I have 0 testing with it so far. I am coming up on a deployment, so my time is very limited, and doing everything I can to make sure that the wife is ready for me to be gone for a couple of months, and getting all the other affairs and orders. I really haven't been able to play, but I am very anxious with this. So here we can see our sideboard. We also got rid of the Fracturing Gust. So we still have the 2 Obstinate Baloths, which we always want for like your Jund, your decks that are going to force you into discarding with just Thoughtseizes, Lilianas, things like that. Things that will cause you to discard a card. Obstinate Baloth is good. Still keeping 2 Malirs in here with the 2 Sudden Shocks for Infect. Infect is a scary matchup, but because of the weapons we have available to us, it is not a difficult matchup. Anger of the Gods. The reason I went down to 2 is because I noticed that there really wasn't a lot of times when I was bringing in all 3. And if I was bringing in all 3, it was just because it was slightly better than, say, a Bolt, or maybe I wanted something else. But Sudden Shock can definitely take that spot too, to get rid of at least the 1 troublesome creature that your opponent may have. Crumble to Dusts, we don't want to go below 2 because Tron is a terrible matchup, and it can also help getting rid of the troublesome Inkmoth Nexuses. Nature's Claims as well, we still want the 2 just because we need artifact and enchantment removal based on what our opponent is playing. If they have Leyline of Sanctities out, if they have artifacts in that out, that just we need to get rid of. So the biggest card, yes, Savage Summoning. I am very anxious to see how Savage Summoning is going to do against the control matches. And an end of turn Primeval Titan and then next turn being able to swing with him it gets me excited thinking about that, and I really hope I get to pull it off. Because having 7 mana on turn 4 for this deck is not unheard of. It's not a difficult thing to think about. And there's a few different setups that we can do to get there. I explained it in the previous deck tech, but it does primarily start off with either Search for Tomorrow or being able to get Sakura Tri-Belter out, and then Conning Heart Expedition with a fetch land. The fetch land is really the biggest thing that you need with Conning Heart Expedition in order to guarantee your 7 lands on turn 4. But also, like, a Search for Tomorrow can help out as well. Or sorry, not a Search for Tomorrow can help out on turn 3 if your Conning Heart's already out. A Farseek also helps out as well. So there's different ways that you can get to that. So the other deck then, Red-Green Valakut. Now this is a deck that a friend of mine, Dan Zorko, ran at GP Charlotte and came to an amazing finish. He finished out 11-4 and just missed out of top 16. But this deck here, it's a little bit different. So it's not running Scape Shifts, and it's running Piankir Nalar to put Thopter tokens up for either to use them as the bombs or just as blockers. It's a nice turn 4 creature to try to slow things down, and also puts pressure on your opponent too. Any bit of damage is great. Through the Breach, this is his biggest thing. With this deck, you can as early as turn 3 through the Breach and get Primeval Titan out. So you're a full turn ahead of the Titanshift version at that point. Titanshift cannot land a turn 3 Titan. Impossible. However, you can do a turn 3 through the Breach. And that would be just hitting all 3 of your land drops, getting Farseek on turn 2, and turn 3 you're resolving your Search for Tomorrow. And if not Farseek, then you still got Sakura Tri-Belter. And he runs a full playset of Farseek because, again, for him, over Explore, he wants to guarantee the land drop. He runs 1 additional Summoner's Pact also with this list, and he also has Oath of Nissa too to dig for either creatures or lands. Primarily land, but you never know when he needs to get that creature in hand if it's running a little short. He does have the 2 Spellskite's main, and his mana base is effectively the same. Actually, I think he's 2 less than we are. He's running 25 because we got Skite over here. And we have 29. Yeah, he's running 2 less land as well, because he's not on the Scapeshift plan. The number of mountains he does run, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basic mountains, 3 Cinderglades, and 3 Stomping Grounds. So he only has 12 mountains versus Vice to 13. That's fine. He can easily get away with that. One thing I really like about this deck is he runs 2 Pulse of Moras's main board. This card saved him so much against Burn, against your Suicide decks, your Bushwhack, 8-Whack, all of that. Your aggressive aggro decks that we can also sometimes have trouble with as Titanshift. Running 2 Pulse of Marassa main board helps out immensely with that. He's allowed to, let me pull the card back up. Return target creature or land from the graveyard, from a graveyard to its owner's hand, and then he gains 6 life. So not only can he use this to benefit himself, he can use this to slow down his opponents. Return a target creature. So if he's going against some kind of Reanimator deck, he can, in response, cast this and put that creature back in that player's hand. Griselbrand, for instance. They go to cast Goryo's Vengeance to get Griselbrand from the graveyard out. Well, whenever they name the target, this Griselbrand, he can say, Pulse of Marassa, return that Griselbrand to your hand. I gain 6 life. So now he just stopped his opponent, and he gained 6 life. The rest of the deck is pretty much the same. The sideboard is a little bit different as well. He runs a 1 of Ancient Grudge on the side to destroy target artifact, and it has flashback. Summoning Trap. This is a really good one here against Control. This is his answer to Control decks. And generally he's able to hit quite well with this because, I mean, you're digging on the top 7 cards of your library. And with the fetches in that, he is thinning out his deck quite well. 2 Destructive Revelries, so that whenever he destroys that enchantment or artifact, he's dealing 2 damage rather than them gaining 4. It's 1 more mana, and he gets to do the damage to them, but I'm okay with them gaining the extra 4 life because we do run Prismatic Omen, and we are able to get to 8 land, and that'll be a little bit more damage if you factor in fetches, and that should still be fine. He also runs a Relic of Progenitus, Pithing Needle, and 2 Grafdigger's Cages. Pithing Needles he used for, a multitude of cards, Liliana primarily, but there are some other troublesome cards out there that you just don't want to deal with. Grafdigger's Cage is good just for your Living End decks, for your Coco decks, and things like that this deck could potentially have issues with because he doesn't have the second win condition in Scapeshift, where we do. He's working on creatures getting out there, and it's not always a creature beatdown. Sometimes it is just land entering the battlefield ability from Primeval Titan that gets him the win. But it plays similar to what Titanshift does. Having the extra creatures makes it a little different. But with Eldritch Moon coming out, there is 2 cards for this deck that could potentially be good for it. Before we get to that, also, instead of Piankir Nalar, some decks also like to run Oracle of Maldaya. Oracle of Maldaya is a 4-drop out of Zendikar, and you may play an additional land on each turn, play with the top card of your library revealed, and if it's a land card, you can play it. So it's similar to that in Corsair Crufix, but you're not gaining life, and instead you're just able to play an additional land each turn. So rather than gaining 1 for each land that enters the battlefield, you get to play an additional land. So that's pretty good there. It's like Exploration, but on the 2/2 body. So the 2 cards you can kind of see up top here that I'm looking at. The first one, Stunning Growth. Stunning Growth is a 4-drop sorcery, and you get to return all land cards from the graveyard to the battlefield, tapped. This is good for getting fetch lands back. This could potentially see decent play also in Titanshift, because if we Scapeshift, say, for value, we have like, 2 Colony Heart Expeditions on field, and we're just not getting the land drops. So we need a Scapeshift and just sack lands and then put more lands out to get the landfall triggers and to get more land out. We can do that. And then we can follow that up with a Stunning Growth, or Stunning Regrowth, and then get all the lands that we just value shifted out onto the battlefield. Also, if any lands get destroyed, so if you're going against like heavy land destruction meta, where you got a lot of Ghost Quarters or Fulminator Mages, things along those lines, then that's able to help you out as well. Even if it's just to return 2 fetch lands. Also, it helps out with Prismatic Omen, because those fetch lands re-entering the battlefield, they count as mountains. So it's really interesting. Definitely going to do some testing around with this whenever I get back from my deployment and see how this works out. The other one is definitely more for the Titan or the red-green Valakut, and that is Eldritch Evolution. Eldritch Evolution is 1 and 2 green sorcery. As an additional cost, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost of X or less, where X is 2 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost. Put a creature onto the battlefield, shuffle your library, exile Eldritch Evolution. Alright, so just like you can see down below, you've got like Natural Order, Birthing Pod, Green Sun Zenith. That is effectively what we are kind of getting here, but it's not the same in that, well, for Birthing Pod, you're able to, it's an artifact, it stays out, and you get to continue to boost it up. It's not as good as Green Sun Zenith because it's based on the creature that you sacrifice, and it's not as good as Natural Order just because, Natural Order, you could just get any green creature. But this is great, though, in that red-green Valakut, because with it, you can sacrifice Piankir Nalar. So that's 4. Converted mana cost 4. So now you get to search for a creature with converted mana cost of X, where X is 2 plus converted mana cost sacrifice creature. Primeval Titan. So if you're kind of stuck on lands, or you want to get that turn 5 Titan out, or turn 4 Titan out, and you don't have the cards there like Through the Breach, or you're running short on mana, then you can go ahead and cast that Eldritch Evolution, sacrifice Piankir Nalar, because you already got 2 Topper tokens out also, and then dig up Primeval Titan. Also, if you really wanted to, this is kind of a waste, but if you really need to keep Piankir out, you could sacrifice a Thopter token, and then you can go and get a Sakura Tribe Elder or a Spellskite, and then you can put that onto the field. So there's that answer as well. And then this works too with Oracle of Maldaya. Oracle of Maldaya being converted mana cost 4, it's the exact same thing. So you get to abuse the additional land drop that turn, and then you get to cast Eldritch Evolution and go and dig for that Primeval Titan. But that's going to do it for me tonight. Thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe below. That really lets me know that either these videos are good or these videos are terrible, and I can get more info out to you guys. And don't forget that we are still having our YouTube giveaways. Now, it may be delayed because I am separate from the other people on the SnapCast, but when we hit those marks, I will be sure to go back and I'll be able to know who that 25th person was. So the first 25, you'll be eligible for that foil sinkhole. And then whenever we hit 75, or sorry, correction, at 50, so whoever that 50th person is, from 50 back, we'll have that foil sinkhole go out to you. At 100, then it's going to be the Caracas. The 25, I was getting that confused on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TheSnapCast. We're also doing 2 giveaways, and those are at 25 and 75. At 25 followers, I'm giving away a Chrome Mox. So go check out some of the replays we have. Look at our schedule. Again, I don't know how much we're going to be able to stick to that schedule with me going on deployment and the other guys being really busy with their lives and everything else, because sadly we can't dedicate everything to Magic. But at 25 followers, we do have a Chrome Mox giveaway. Now, at 75 followers, I think this is really the best one. We're giving away a Jace the Mind Sculptor. So all you have to do is just follow us. I mean, it's free. And just go to twitch.tv/TheSnapCast, click that follow button, and then tune in. Watch as I play through some Modern. Right now I'm in the middle of Modern Infect, and that's going to be continuing until I leave here shortly. And then when I get back, we'll continue on with Standard and a few other things. But definitely check those 2 resources out. You can also follow us on our website at www.thesnapcast.com, where we post all the latest podcasts, news articles, and everything that we are able to put out. And then, of course, there is our Facebook page at facebook.com/TheSnapCast, where we put all of the information. We do contest giveaways. We've done 2 GP promo Stoneforge Mystics. We've given those away. And we also had a giveaway going for a few packs of Eternal Masters, where the contest was you had to guess what the additional red card that I was running in my Rug Infect deck. So sadly nobody did guess that correct, but you know, I mean, those 3 packs of Eternal Masters are still up for giveaway, so we'll see what we want to do to give them away. But that's going to do it for me tonight. Again, thank you very much for for sticking around, listening, watching, and all that great stuff, and we hope to hear from you guys soon.